There we go. I need to have me on there so you can hear me. So, and let me zoom in on this a little bit for you. I think that's readable. Um, so last week on the Philly Phade, which on, I actually did on Saturday on, uh, also eligible because I did not have a Joe Quills show during the week. I gave out these 7 picks. I gave Philly and Dallas over 38. That was a winner. Eagles got that themselves. Saquon Barkley over 150 rushing receiving yards. You got that in rushing alone. So that was 1.15. Green Bay lost a close one to Minnesota, which shouldn't have been that close. That was a loss, one minus 1.02. Washington won. That was gives me one there. Loss of Boise State, loss with Oregon. Went back into the negative there, but Notre Dame pulls it out for me, and I ended up the season. If you were to have wagered the same unit amount for every single game that I picked, you made a very slight profit. So, so let's say that was $100. You made 41. My usual unit when I go to the sports books is 25. If that was the case and you played 25 for each wager, you would have made $10.25. So not much, but considering that we were at the end of October minus 20.92 units, we made up 21.33 units in November and December. We went 39, 23, and 1 for the last 2 months of the year. I think that's pretty fucking awesome if you ask me, because that could have continued to tail spinning out of control. I could have potentially been um, 30, 40, 50 units under, but we did end up below 500 with the wins and losses at 64, 68, and 1. But sometimes if you hit a money line wager every now and then, you do get the opportunity to reap the benefits of that. So, and Mike says, "Well done." I say, "Thank you." Uh, but that was, sometimes, you can get hot for a week or two. I've been basically red hot for the last 2 months, and now that we are in the month of January, it's time to pick some winners here. I'm not going to pick the three remaining bowl games that don't mean jack shit. Even though I kind of want to bet the Bahamas Bowl, but you know, Aruba, Jamaica, I want to take it down to Kokomo or some shit like that. Um, but we won't touch those 3 games here because you know because you got to find out. Well, is this player playing? This player not playing? That sort of thing. I don't want to deal with that bullshit. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to begin with college basketball. And the first time I think it's the first time we're tapping into this since I brought back the Philly Fade. Let me just double check that here. I might have had one game here. No, I did have one men. I did have one college basketball game here. I think. Where was it? Oh yeah, I gave you a last minute rider rent a truck wager over San Diego. That was a winner on the opening week of the season, November 6th. So, but that was the only time we dabbled in college basketball. But we're going to dabble in it a little bit for tomorrow. I got two games here, and the first game we're going to go to is not on here. Or is this game on Saturday? No, it's tomorrow night. Okay. The Wagner Power Painters. They take on Chicago State. It's just that these games are not listed in sequential order. That's what threw me off. And maybe that some of the times changed over the course of the week. So since the it was planned. Um, so Wagner comes into the game. They are. Let me see. Wagner, the Wagner Seahawks. They're in the Northeast Conference. They are nine. I'm sorry, they're 8-5 in conference overall. Chicago State, who is a new member of the Northeast Conference, they are 0-15. Gamble Grove, welcome in. Um, I will gladly in a second. Let me just get this thought out of my mind here, and I let you have the forum here. Um, Chicago State is 0-15. They are getting blown out by 26 points a night. 25. I mean, it isn't even just, even though it's Illinois, they got blown out by 53, a Big Ten school. They lost to Cal State Northridge by 24. They lost to Grand Canyon by 23. They lost to St. Louis by 23. Not good. Um, Last time I went against Chicago State a couple years ago, um, they really killed a parlay that I had because Chicago State decided to play basketball that one night. But Chicago State, this is the equivalent of being a team out on the West Coast that's not Power Five, having to fly to the East. Because, everything is a 2-hour flight back to the East Coast for them to play in these games. So obviously they'll need to find a better conference that fits more to their geography. But until they do so, they got to figure out a way to win games. It's not going to be here tonight. And I am going with Wagner. Somehow this line is only 10 points. Um, and I will say this right now. I will not be surprised if Wagner wins this by at least 30. So my first pick tonight, Wagner minus 10. And we'll go with Wagner, the power painter. I mean the Seahawks minus 10 over Chicago State. I don't like the minus 115, but we'll go with it. And then the other game that I had pinpointed for tomorrow night, Georgetown playing Xavier. Um, they have a new head coach there, and I think that he's starting to get his guys in there. They're taking on Xavier that had a couple of tough losses in the conference. Um, I really like Georgetown here. Their defense is really kicking into gear here. They're 11-2. We may see Georgetown in the tournament this year, and I'm going to go with Georgetown here -1 at -110. So my first set of college basketball wagers for this calendar year. Wagner -10 at -115, and Georgetown -1 at -110. So um, we'll see if my analytics that I do, which is nothing I can explain. Um, it's just what I have to just. I let the numbers bounce around in my head. I just like, yeah, I'll take this one, or Um, but anyway, Gamble Grove, if you're still here, feel free. Um, I'll let you have the dais here because he wanted to give some bold statements going into March Madness. And I am going to go back to me for the short term. Um, we'll see what Gamble Grove has to say here, and once again, welcome in uh, to the show here. Um, just to let you know, you know, my name is Joe Quills. I am a streamer with Bleacher Brothers. I also write horse racing articles for them. This is my side job, so to speak. I stream 4 nights a week, um, and we'll, I stream 4 nights a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are definitely going to be at 9 o'clock. I think Wednesdays are going to be at 10 o'clock. I also do a horse racing show called Also Eligible, which is Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. So just let you know, I what some of my background is. Graduated from Drexel University twice. Uh, so so Gamble Grove says I think the Elite Eight will be Michigan, Auburn, Xavier, West Virginia, Oregon, Tennessee, Utah State, and Florida. Utah State's a bold one. Um, you know, and the thing is, we got 2 months left in the season in the regular season, where these teams are going to be beating the crap out of each other in conference play. Um, Xavier, very possible, but um, they do have the UConn factor right now, and I did say after they lost after they got swept out of the Maui Classic, I said if you want to play UConn last month, or actually the end of November, now is the time to jump on them at 20 to 1. I don't even know what they are, nor do I care. But Michigan, they're bouncing back. Auburn's a top team. West Virginia, they upset Kansas the other day. Oregon, I just wonder if maybe the travel in the Big Ten is going to mess with them a little bit. Tennessee, I can see. Florida, I got to catch up on. So some of these schools I do need to catch up on, but very interesting statement there from Gamble Grove there. Um, so, uh, so once again, welcome into the show. And this is something I usually do on Thursday nights, and occasionally I sprinkle it in every once in a while. So I think next week what I'm going to be doing is next Wednesday night I will give a pick for the Thursday college football playoff game, and then Thursday night will be for the Friday game. So just to give you guys, even those that are listening and watching after the fact, because I do turn this into an audio and I upload it to the Joe Quill Show as well. Um, uh, in my in my opinion, what teams would you put in the NBA Finals right now? Whew. Um, right now, I would say Boston. I think that they had a couple of funky losses there, but um, you got to say Cleveland, uh, only because of the fact that you know I'm a firm believer of winning as many games as possible early on. Um, Winning as many games as you can early on means that it's the less amount of wins that you need, finger quotes, and you got a Celtics fan there. Um, um, I'll get to that other question too in a second. I think, I mean, maybe the Knicks, but um, I mean, if Doc Rivers was not coaching Milwaukee, I would say Milwaukee, but we know how Doc Rivers always loses in the second round of the playoffs. Um, so I guess right now, committing to the top three in the East: Cleveland, Boston, and New York. And I know SJ is saying, "What? No Sixers?" They got to prove it to me. But I would say the three teams in the East right now: Cleveland, Boston, and New York right now. Maybe you throw in Orlando. I don't know, um, but it looks like it's right now. It's 12 teams fighting for 10 spots right now. Um, Oklahoma City 28-5 right now. Um, you know they manage their draft picks wisely, and they're ready to. They're kicking ass right now. They're already 6 games up on Memphis, 5.5 actually, but um, gotta. I mean, the way that these, even with these, with the playing games now, you may, you could have a situation where these top two seeds could lose because the one and two seeds have to wait around a couple extra days. But um, Rock, Cavs and Grizzlies in the NBA Finals, um, possible. SJ will tell you otherwise. Uh, you know, but then again, SJ may tell you the Celtics even if they were 1-81. But uh, Rockets have a good against the spread record this year. Yeah, I admit I haven't really played NBA basketball or even attempted to play basketball early on. Um, uh, can can they break the regular season win record currently held by the Warriors? I would hate to say no and see a team go 74-8, but I think what happens is, I think what's going to have to happen if you have a team that goes 74-8, you're going to have a team that that's chasing them in the standings. Um, Let me just look for one thing here. Um, okay, so okay, this is what I'm talking about here. Um, when it comes to the 73-9 season that the Warriors had, number two was San Antonio at 67-15. So they were kind of pressured, and they got to the end of the season. It's like, well, we might as well go for 73. We have 72. So, but when it comes to, I mean, but if you're, see, then you get into the rest versus rust situation that we've talked about a couple different times tonight. Um, with college football, I mentioned baseball. Um, you could conceivably have a situation where you're not playing guys, and then you're getting yourself into trouble with the league because of the, how everybody, um, you know, with the load management stuff that even the Sixers do with Joel Embiid all the time. Um, um, the hardest part of the Cavs schedule is at the beginning of the season. Let me pull up their schedule here. Yeah, because they played at New York, they played L.A. at home, Orlando's up there, Milwaukee is up there. Um, they pounded Golden State. Uh, you know, very conceivable, but sometimes, and you could argue that sometimes even teams that end up, you know, it's kind of like Madden or some sports video games where all of a sudden you have um, all of a sudden you lose 3, 4 in a row. But when you're 29-4 right now, and you're leading the conference by 4.5 games over the defending champs, you know, um, you're putting yourself in good position. But the one thing I would caution, and I've said it numerous times in the past, um, I said numerous times in the past, there are just some teams that you just have a hard time with no matter what. Um, but it's just so difficult. Um, 82 games and everything else here. So, and then Gamble Grove has a question in regards to the NFL. Will we ever see another NFL team go undefeated? Um, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see it. Um, I think Kansas City is the closest thing that we have right now that is capable of doing that. Um, but you have a bad day, or you have a fluke play, or with the overtime rules in the NFL, for example, in the regular season, you don't win a coin toss, you may not see the ball because the team just goes right down the field on you. Or, you fumble the opening kickoff and they turn it into a touchdown or something like that. But um but I mean, I think it's going to be hard. It's even harder now because you have 17 games now and not 16. And there's a reason why there was only one team that went 16-0 in the regular season, being the Patriots. You know, whether you want to say, oh, they cheated or they didn't, still give them the benefit of the doubt of going 16-0, no matter what they did was ethically or morally correct or not. But I really don't think you can. I really don't think that you can actually. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. But but you get a team that's stacked and has won year after year after year, then maybe, but I just don't see it happening. But I have my gut feelings on that. I think that it's not going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does happen, because you could get into a divisional setup like the Patriots had uh, when they lost those damn Giants. Um, the whole division was crap, and you're only playing three divisional games, but even the NFL scheduling is different now because like for example, even though the Eagles are 13-3, 16 of the 17 games are set up for next year already, and everybody's saying, "Oh, we playing all these playoff teams next year." The thing is, looking ahead to the next year is great, but teams go good, teams go bad. Everything ends up going into the toilet. So, um, but I wouldn't. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I don't want to say that, and then it ends up being YouTube fodder. Oh, that's never going to happen again. I mean, it might happen, but I don't think it will. But that's another great question there. Um, I'm going to give you my NFL picks here for the weekend as well. And let's see here. Let me go back over here. There we go. Pull up the NFL here. I cannot believe that Baltimore's a 20-point favorite, and that's because Bailey Zappi is going to be starting for Cleveland on Saturday afternoon. So that's why that jump from 18 to 20. Um, and a lot of these games, like for example, if this game meant something, the Eagles and the Giants, that probably is a 20-point spread, or no, not 20, probably about 15. But because Jalen Hurts is out, probably out, Saquon's not playing, Eagles have nothing to play for, and also the whole make sure the Giants don't get a top five pick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win that game, but this is going to be the first week where I am not going to pick an Eagles game on the Philly. Well, I might see if there's a prop worth playing, but we'll see in a second here. So let's begin with, um, let's see. Um, okay, I got two 425 games here. First, Dolphins go to New York, and yeah, it's going to be cold, and there won't be any snow, um, not until Monday. Um, but the Dolphins are going to New York, and like I said, it may end up being Aaron Rodgers' last game. Miami needs this game, but I should be wary about this game because of the fact that if you really think about this, it's a distinct possibility that the Dolphins are in a close game. Denver plays at the same time, right? Yeah. So you got Denver. They're 10.5-point favorites here, but you never know with Kansas City, even with Carson Wentz under center on Sunday. And also you got Cincinnati playing for a spot as well. Uh, they actually play Saturday night, so they will. Um, but Miami is the team that benefits from a Denver loss if by chance the um, uh, if by chance Denver ends up losing and misses the playoffs. But Miami takes on the Jets, and it's a 1-point spread right now. Um, I just think the Jets are a bad team, and they're ready to sweep away the year and bury it right next to Jimmy Hoffa. I'm going with the Dolphins here, -1 at -108 here. Um, I think it'd be fitting that um, Aaron Rodgers goes out with a loss. So will take the Dolphins there. Arizona takes on San Francisco. Brock Purdy is out with an elbow injury, but it's not a something that requires Tommy John. It's just some rest and rehab to get ready for next year. Um, Arizona, I think they really want to go out there and win this game. San Francisco, they've been mired in the hangover, which is um, the losing the Super Bowl, like they, especially the way they did in overtime. So I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals here to get win number 8 on the year. The line's down to -4 here, so uh, we'll go with Arizona -4 in the um, in that game here. So then we're going to go and we're going to see if we can find a proper Eagles game because I got zero feeling on this game. And I try to pick something for the Eagles game. I've been doing props every once in a while. Receiving, passing props. See, if you notice here, there's no props for a quarterback because we don't know who's starting. We don't know if it's going to be Jalen Hurts, which I don't think it will be. Kenny Pickett, do you really want to put him out there with the rib situation there? I think you're going to give him rest. So it may be the Tanner McKee show. So I don't think we're going to see anything like that. So, um, but I don't like the vig on here, -135. So I'm not going to touch that. Rushing props here. Man, they have nothing on the Eagles here. Um, and sometimes I just do this by the seat of my pants here. Um, mm, 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 mm. All right. So let me look at the weather here for Sunday. So it's going to be 34 degrees. Uh, Not too windy, but you know what? Let's do something goofy with this. Um, okay. Now, here's the one good thing here, and this is the great thing about DraftKings and sports books. They're going to put extra verbiage on these wagers, especially for a situation like this is. I'm going with under 48.5 yards for a field goal because it's going to be a cold day, and the colder it gets, the ball's going to take. It's going to be harder for that ball to be kicked further. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be a field goal game anyway. Um, Longest field goal under 48.5 yards, and also if by chance there's no made field goal, that bet is voided, and you get your money back. So I'm going to go with that here. First game props. Hmm, Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be my final play here. We're going to go with the Eagles Giants game under 48.5 yards for a field goal. And if nobody kicks a field goal in that game, that bet will be null and void. So, uh, okay. So that is going to be it for this Thursday night. Good to be back with you guys here.